I think at some point we had said we're going to do this show weekly.
I think so.
But then the dad days of summer set in. It has been an absolute gong show. Like, there's been projects, there's been cottages, there's been Mexico.
Yep.
So this has not been a great, not been great for consistent shows. But I think the best part is the audience. It's like your dad, you're gaming. You know what happens. Like,
this is what it is. Yeah, this is your life.
You know what's up. So, so I certainly think we're going to get back to a routine. But until that time, what you're going to hear weekly is the adult beverages are poured, the kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 4-year-old and almost a 2-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old.
Yeah, like he's a week away at this point. So it's just like, what am I gonna say? 1.5-year-old, one and like
nope.
1 4/5.
Straight up 2.
Yeah,
4/5. Yeah.
4 and 2. Can't wait.
Yeah, there you go.
It's all down. It's all uphill. I was gonna say downhill, but that's not
downhill. I don't know.
Uphill. It's gonna get
Hit that
better.
reset
It's gonna be
button.
great. Yeah. So this show fell apart.
Well,
much like any dad's life, basically. This show, you could probably chart this show along with milestones of kids in summer.
yeah, I could see. Yep.
And you would see regularity and even topics just being like, yeah, that's the flow of fatherhood as it exists.
Yeah, pretty much.
But oof, man, it's been wild. So it's as I said, I think we've joked before that this is basically like the dad's spare time podcast, which, as you know, doesn't exist and is fairly infrequent. So, but legitimately, like, we apologize for it. Like, we're going to certainly be able to get back into a routine once we hit the fall, because this summer threw us for a loop.
Summer's just too fun.
There's too much great stuff in the summer, just like summer beers. So we're here. And the best part is, I had to ask Jeff if I had covered this one before, because I've had a bunch of them I've drank a bunch of these, that's for sure. I might have covered it. So if I did, that just means it's really good. So you should really consider
round 2, yeah.
I'm opening up Nickelbrook. Sorry, I think it's pronounced Nickelbrook Brewing Zap Sour IPA. I feel like I'm cheating because it just feels like I've done so many sours, but that is just my jam. Like, this summer, it's been so good. Like, I am adoring these beers, and so many places that I love and respect come out with them that it's just my go-to. Like, I know I should be experimenting with other ales and lagers and other things, but man, summertime, like, it's just ready for sour. So this is my open.
That artwork looked very Futurama-ish.
Absolutely, that is a perfect pull. That is exactly what it's like.
Yeah,
there.
That's fun.
Man, that's almost 2 on the nose. That's like borderline.
Yeah, that's like
litigation. That's how close
I hear the music, the theme song in my head when it opens.
So yourself, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, we went to Mexico for vacation, and I felt like I just continued that theme, and I'm going with sangria, white sangria, Smirnoff.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little vodka and citrus. And I actually bought this for my wife, and she allowed me to share it on the show. And I will say, it's delicious. And it goes down really easy, and that's dangerous. So I would only have a few of these and then go back to beer, but it's good as a break. Yeah. And again, like sitting on the deck in a hot summer day, watching the kids run around, and you kick your feet up and have one of these, this is perfect. This is a good switch up from
cold,
regs.
Refreshing, a little different taste from beer, because you want to get around. So that's a great pull. That's a great choice.
Little hard on it, but hard vodka is going down, but it's all good. Yeah, it works.
It's a heck of there's a new mixed canned explosion happening, at least here in Ontario with the LCBO, where like there's just aisles now dedicated to like gin and whatever, vodka and whatever, like just additional type of alcohol mixed with additional liquids.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like a bit of a boon. So it's a whole different store. Like if someone was to time travel from like 10 years ago and walk into LCBO, they'd be lost because it's nothing but craft beers, weird mixes, like an absolute ton of whiskeys, and then some wines. Like it's so different, like where we're at.
It is different. It used to have none of that. So enjoy. Drink up.
Drink up. It has been fantastic for summer. So, all right. So right off the bat, a bone to pick with you.
Okay.
You did not sell Wipeout VR nearly good enough. That game is stunning. That is absolutely you did not unless I purchased it at the time. You failed, sir. You did me an injustice.
Okay.
That game is so good.
Obviously tried it. Is it part of PS Plus? It was part of PS Plus at one point.
That's the thing. So. It came out for free. But like I recall looking for it because I'd caught wind that if you go into some EB Games, like used game stores, you can kind of pick it up on the sly, like, and then the HD or the VR updates for free.
Right.
So there's some cases where you could pick it up for like $5.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out as part of the PS Plus lineup, and it is stunning. Like it's so
slick,
cool.
Eh?
It's it's an even better version of, in some ways, of Eve Valkyrie as far as being in a space cockpit and the feeling of that futuristic tech around you, the weight of the ship that is just, weighing down on either side of you, the speed and the controls, like it's so good. And I guess the thing that stuns me about it, and we'll get into that when we get to our main topic for today, but it's how great these companies are at producing VR games. And I always think about the menu. So you launch into the menu, you're in this kind of white space with some slight kind of gray details, but it's a track. You're on the track from a race from Wipeout. So all of a sudden these like massive spaceships come soaring overhead. So you're choosing your level, you're choosing your ship, and these like gargantuous futuristic spaceships are just zooming past you. That's the menu. You haven't even started the game yet.
That's right. Yeah, it's true.
So early days, it was kind of like just you had flat menus, and they would just kind of like here's your menu, and you can like bob your head around it. But now, like, damn, man.
No, it's a good one, and it's super clean. Like a lot of the like clean lines in it. There's not really much blurriness to it, and the sense of speed in it. They do have a lot of options with the blinders, right? Have you ever taken the blinders off? It's like nuts. It warns you outright. It's like, are you sure? Because the speed in it and the sense of motion, if you don't have the blinders on, can be quite jarring. But it's a good one.
So I just went to the defaults, and I found that was amazing. But as best I could tell, the only thing I have is my head stays level with the track, which helps a lot. So if the ship is doing this, like your head's not going with it. I don't think I have blinders because if there's at all times I can see out fully from the canopy. Are you talking that like
there's like metal shields that come up that kind of create this little tunnel, so that kind of shield you from the peripheral?
Yeah, you'd almost think they'd do that by default. I didn't change anything, so I almost imagine I probably have it, but it doesn't feel like it. Like it feels like I have just full. Like when I'm after the race, one of my favorite things to do is just because at that point the car is kind of just driving itself. Like I love to just look out the window and see the city because the details are stunning, and you're not looking at that when you're driving.
No. Yeah,
at 400 kilometers an hour. So, yeah, you did a terrible disservice.
I'm sorry, man. Like it is one, and again, like you said, it's crazy that these VR ports come around because that game was not designed with VR in mind, and for them to, make that happen out of a game that has already been fully designed the other way, the 2D pancake way. Is amazing that they can do that. So it's another one where it's like you have the dedicated resources and actually make a VR game that's from concept to production. That would be insane.
So good. Yeah, sessionable. You can hop in a quick race. It's the greatest looking VR game I've played. I don't know if it's especially just because of my Pro. Because I'll play some games honestly, and I really feel like my setup is just suboptimal. So that's why everything kind of seems blurry. But that's more the technology. This is the crispest, cleanest game I've seen. And so fast, so fun. Man, you did me wrong on that.
It'll wake you up. It's very bright, too. So you can't go to sleep with that one. It is white in your eyes. So,
right, but I am going to catch the transition that you threw because, talking about VR and
Right.
games that were designed for flat but have somehow managed to transition into VR in stunning capacity.
Right.
We did it. We reached the golden land. No Man's Sky VR has launched. It is live. They did it. They did it. What is like, so before I gotta censor myself because I could talk about it for hours. What did you think? What's your impressions?
The first thing I thought of is
Here's what I think.
is
No,
Trevor's reaction. He's been waiting for this forever. Yeah, man. Like when you jump in VR in No Man's Sky, the first thing where you spawn and the world just builds around you, the sense of scale. It's always the sense of scale, which you cannot promote on a 2D TV and give that impression. It's the trees, the flora and fauna, and everything around you is moving and giant. So it was the scale to me. Even the ships have been redone. So it's the it's how small you felt in this giant world. And just trekking the first 15 minutes, I just started walking around looking at things. I didn't even try to go into any menus or anything. I was just looking around and just seeing where I could go. Because again, this game, you can go anywhere. So when you booted it up, what did you see? Were you in your original files or did you start new?
I started new. Like I'd gotten pretty far, but I really did want to just like experience it from soup to nuts, because especially working at the basic things and then kind of learning these new controls and everything as I got into the more complicated parts, as it eventually going to get into within VR. So I wanted to start it fresh.
Okay.
Oh man, I was even worse. I got such a lousy roll. I was on like a toxic planet with like
Hell,
with
you're like me.
Yeah, with
Okay.
bad sentinels. I was just like, come on, like,
Yeah.
this is awful. But powered through, and just that, the scale, the size of it when you're looking stuff around, the hands, and I think for me, what really became super apparent is how deep, how far they went to make it really sci-fi. To me, it just feels like they are the same kids as we are that grew up with gaming and just adore it and love this stuff.
Right.
So specifically, like when you have the to get the gun, what they've done with all of the menus and the interactions is amazing. Because what I'm like, when you to get your gun, especially if you're using the Move controllers, were you using the Move controllers?
Yep.
Oh, awesome! It's just the best way to do it. So to get your gun, you reach beside your head, like as if you're pulling it from your back.
Yeah.
And you
like a
pull it.
Ghostbuster. You felt like a Ghostbuster. You're like,
Right?
yeah.
And then you're holding this gun, you're moving it around. On your two hands, there exist little menus that you bring up your one hand, you take your other hand over top of it, and you're poking it at this like holographic interface above your hand. That the entire time you can like swish around. Like it's never static.
Yeah.
Like so you're in it. Every interaction and menu, and it's a deep menu system they have, so that's a huge thing to pull off.
Yeah.
So two hands, two sets of menus. I think it's so minor, but it's so cool to bring up your scan mode. So if you
Yes.
want to scan everything, like if you asked a kid, hey, like how would you turn on like a visor scanner? I think that they would reach up beside their eyes and go like dee dee, like they would tap the side of their face.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you do. Like you take your left hand, you bring it to the left side of your face, you press the button as if you're turning on the scanner, and then your vision then changes.
I found that out by accident, and I was amazed. I was like, why am I turning on my scanner? Oh, I'm raising my arm to my head. That's amazing. I kept just doing the little sound myself.
Yeah, and so just the thought of that, like that, those interactions where it's not you can look around in this existing flat game. You know what I mean? That would have been that would have been base level. So like before it was a flat game, now you can move your head around and look at it.
Right.
Fine.
Yeah.
But the distance they went to really make it like really virtual, to really get you into the space was just, man, stunning. And the first time, like explain when you first flew a ship, like walk me through that.
So yeah, to get in your ship, you like project your hand and kind of grab it to go inside. And then you're in this cockpit, which is nuts because you can see everything. Everything's on the monitors. You're looking around. And then for you to get out of your vehicle, you actually have to reach over and like lift the windscreen like you would in a spaceship, which isn't it again one of those mechanics that they didn't have to do, but they did. But then you grab your like the HOTAS, like your hand becomes the joystick and your other hand on the steering, and when you lift off, and just the sense of just almost like weightlessness and blasting off, and you see the heat gather around your ship as you exit the atmosphere or enter the atmosphere is crazy. And then I just caught myself just looking around, taking it all in, and then a huge asteroid field appear in front of me with a huge planet behind it, and then like one of the space anomalies off to the right hand side, and you're just in awe again of the scale and how vast the space is, which I don't think comes across as much as it did in the 2D space. It was still big, but this thing is just like, I am out in the middle of nowhere here and I can do anything I want. So it was crazy to see. And then like even warping, doing the jump mode and everything's just fluttering past you is just something to definitely something to experience. It'll wake you up for sure. And then you're just flying through these massive planets and all these asteroid fields on your way to wherever you want to go. So it was a treat. And looking out and seeing like the wings of your plane, and I got like just a beginner plane, whatever it's called. I don't know what my ship's called. I think I renamed it to something. But just seeing that stuff, and then I went into a shipyard and there's other ones that are just massive. And I was like, this is, now I want to, save up and get something like that because I want to see that cockpit and I want to see that ship in like VR or still sitting on a planet. So it just got me really excited to do that stuff. And I'm like you, where I wanted like that sci-fi feel in a VR space. And I kept hoping for this update to come out as soon as it did, and thank God it did. And it runs super smooth. Like I didn't have a hitch. I'm on the original PS4. Again, like full disclosure, it'll look kind of muddy at times, like in the distance, but really you don't recognize it after 15 minutes. You are in that world, just consuming everything in it. So don't let that stop you. Free update, grab it while you can. It is
free
nuts.
update. Yeah, like you hit it around the head. Like one of the biggest moment for me is when I first got on that spaceship and I blasted off and I breached the atmosphere for the first time. I got into actual space. Like I actually felt like I'll call it scared. I felt scared when I did it. Like the vastness and the size and the scale of it all.
Huge.
Like you just get this weight of like I'm so small and I can go anywhere. So it was just like this foreboding feeling of like God, I'm a speck. Like I'm so small. Like this is you feel that kind of weight of all of space. So I just had this like feeling of it. Like it was unbelievable. Like I couldn't stand it. Like it was wild.
Yeah.
Then I'm on PSVR Pro. I do not think I don't think there's no special update for it though.
No, not yet. Right.
So
they probably will be coming, but
yeah, I imagine they'll do a patch, but there's nothing particular about it yet. So yeah, it's certainly muddy, but yeah, it's so worth it. Like you wouldn't notice it by the time you actually kind of get through it. And for those moments of finally like feeling the space. Did you get into the anomaly?
Yeah, which is crazy. Again, it's one of those ones where you enter on a 2D plane and you're like, wow, look at all the pretty colors and the rings and this tunnel that brings you in. Like, that's kind of cool. In VR, it's just spectacular. It's just like, whoa, so it's like a light show here.
Did you interact with anybody when you were in there?
Just like the NPCs.
Other players.
I didn't see any other players.
Okay.
Well, actually, I saw their ships, but I didn't see them. So I wanted to walk around their ships and just see, again, the scale of everything. But I did find when I was talking to NPCs and other like characters, I almost wanted to stand up, like because I was sitting down, right? So I was at this weird height where my mind's like, you're taller than this, but you're not. You're sitting. You're not standing. Yeah. So, but it was kind of neat to be in there and walk around.
Yeah, I guess it would almost be a good argument to play this standing because, like, yeah, your character theoretically the whole time is just standing, and you'd want to kind of be at that same height. I guess I didn't really feel that because prefer to play like long sessions of it. It's probably about as long as I've ever been in VR. But for me, so in the I think what happens in the anomaly is that ends up being a hub for all players.
Okay.
So, you know, it's a player doesn't have to be inside your galaxy, but if you enter an anomaly, a bunch of players are all there. So when I did it, there was just like 20 other people, like actual humans ripping around. And you could tell who has VR in the move because obviously they have the two moves, they have the weird handset.
Yeah.
So I had this like weird, super weird interaction because this guy, I posted on Reddit because I wanted to know if I had some sort of faux pas, like if I was supposed to do something that I didn't know about. And actually, I'm going to take a quick break, sorry, because so we have a video playing here. Mm-hmm. This is a review from a YouTuber named Zane's World, spelled Xaines, Zane's World. So just to give him credit, like if anybody wants to check it out, looks like he's got some good No Man's Sky content. So just to be clear that we're showing some of his footage there. He's got a really nice rundown here of what's in Beyond, so worth a look. Yeah, but it had this super weird interaction. So I get out of my ship, and this other VR player comes like storming over, and he's pointing at my ship, and then like to me, like super excitedly, like
get out of my parking spot. What do you do?
Well, what I was wondering is that's what I was, man. Maybe it's a parking spot. Maybe it's a glitch. That would because I've been racking my brain because I've been trying to because I was trying to show him like. Because he would like point super excitedly at me and then like at my ship, and I'm like, "Can we trade? Like, do you want to buy this? Like, do you want to wing up and do something? Like, we completely limited in what I could do."
Right.
And you know, I want to be a good citizen. I was like, what am I supposed to do? At one point, I even got into my ship and got out because I'm like, "See, it's mine, totally my ship." Couldn't figure it out. Never sorted out what it meant. It might make sense that it was a glitch, and I parked. So he was like over, like, "What'd you do to my ship?" Like,
what happened? And it just like overrode his.
Oh, that's okay.
Maybe so I don't know.
That's the most plausible thing I've heard yet. That would make a lot of sense because he would have been all pissed off. Like, why have you destroyed my ship?
And you had a new ship, right? So it was like the beginner ship. It wasn't like something.
No, so I had. It was slightly upgraded because I had the pre-order. So
okay.
Guys who have the pre-order have a slightly upgraded ship from the base one, but barely. Like it's nothing particularly special.
Well, maybe he's pointing to that. Like, hey, where'd you get your? I don't know. Cannons?
Yeah, it felt really limited as far as what we could do. I was trying to find if there's if I could emote something to him or speak, but I couldn't find anything. So
okay.
The multiplayer revamp system actually seems really cool though. As far as there's almost slightly Destiny-like, where if you go to the central computer, you can just choose a mission. And other people will sign on to that mission.
Oh, okay.
So it could be the four of you go off and raid this base, or the four of you go and collect this, or blah, 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 blah. Right? So it, as opposed to like find somebody, link up your games, like become friends, create a party room or whatever nonsense. It's just like, yeah, you can just, if you'd like to sign up with some buddies, or some randos, pick this up and off you go on an event. And there's big rewards for doing so.
So in VR, do you see other people's hands go, or is it?
Yeah. Now I think it's a combo. I think it's just normal people.
Okay.
Because they would just, you would not see any of their hand movements, and then other people you could tell like definitely had humans trying to like act out nonsense. Like,
yeah, I thought you could like almost like sign language, like people like no, like.
It really feels like I'd need some sort of way to like. I would have really enjoyed some other way to kind of like signal to them that like, hey, I need help, or like. What are you saying? Like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Like, where do we go from here? So,
future update? Who knows? It seems like they're committed at this point. They've dug themselves out of quite a hole on launch, and now we're talking VR No Man's Sky, which is
I think
crazy to me.
That's one of the most exciting things, and I think even if you don't own the game, and if you don't, let's queue up another. We're gonna do some live YouTubing here for the live stream of it. So.
Yeah. I mean, you could pick up this game much like Wipeout. You could pick this game up for $5-10 at an EB Games or eBay or something, and then just to experience it, and then get a free, like a bunch of free updates because it's all included in this one if you start from fresh. Yeah. So and
just quickly, so we've now started to watch PSVR Without Parole, who I'm a huge fan of. These guys do so many great videos for PSVR, so I love to see the stuff that they're doing. They did a 12-hour live stream.
Oh my god.
God, they had that helmet on for 12 hours? Their eye sockets must have fell out. But just to give them credit here, we're watching one of their videos. So No Man's Sky Beyond, PSVR, 12-hour live stream. This would be a blast to watch.
Yeah. Oh,
Sorry,
I wanted to ask you, too, watching this VR footage, did you change the movement? Because at first I had the teleportation, like you throw the globe or whatever and you warp to wherever. But I'm like, nah, I don't want that. So I changed to the like regular walking and the smooth movement, which I found like so much better, but almost slower than the other version. So I don't know if you were doing the teleportation, like throw, I want to go here.
No, I didn't like the throw thing because it feels so disjointed. Like
it breaks it a little bit, right? Like the immersion, I think, is gone at that point. For me, at least, it was jarring.
Yeah, for me too, because I like to think it's like I am there, I'm in it, so I want to be able to walk to the places.
Yeah,
and eventually kind of get the hang of it with like running. The one thing that sucked was the lack of thrust punch.
Oh, okay, yep.
So No Man's Sky, like a bug that became a feature was like it was if you punched and then thrust, you would be able to like fast move. Yeah. Like that was the fastest way to. That's gone, or at least like I don't think it currently exists with VR.
Oh, okay.
So the whole time you're just kind of like plodding along. Like it's
there's only one speed, right?
Yeah. For me, slow movement or like smooth movement and just strolling around is definitely the way to go.
I will say that I had some jump scares in this game now.
Nice.
Too, I was mining away, and then all of a sudden, this huge like T-Rex giraffe thing steps over me. I'm like, oh my god! Like just a massive beast. And luckily, I had chosen creative mode, so I couldn't die or anything. But it did not like me doing whatever I was doing, and was running around trying to get me to leave. So I was a little bit just like taken back as I didn't expect this thing in my vision. So yeah, it's pretty neat.
So that bugs me a bit as far as I really wish you could do creative mode and still play the story.
Yeah,
because I hate that because I've done this stuff before, and there's some parts where it's like, okay, now find this mineral to give to the scientist and build this, and it's just
right.
The grind gets fairly monotonous at times. I'm just thinking like I really want to be in VR and just blast around in super space, like, and just have a great time.
Yeah.
So it's a little frustrating, but so some part of me that thinks like maybe I should switch over to just creative mode to like when I'm doing my VR stuff, but I don't know. I'll see. If it gets too dull, then I might just hop over.
I was building a base, and building a base in VR, I will say, is amazing. Just because it's just all there and giant. So you can just, I actually had my son do it, my 6-year-old, and he was just completely taken back by it. He wanted to be in there for a longer time than I would allow him to. So it's like, no,
maybe when you're older, son.
Yeah. But he was building my base for me and painting it different colors and all sorts of stuff. So it's cool, man. I don't know, like, again, the amount of effort these guys have put in to turn this thing around, and now we're talking that it's a VR space sim that we've been wanting, at least, that Elite wasn't bringing over to PSVR, at least. But it is quite an accomplishment, again, to port something into VR space like this.
That's perfect. Like, it's a perfect note to end on, because I guess the one thing that struck me was, and vindication isn't the right word, but it's some tiny way for me, especially because I've had a real hand of death as far as technology is concerned. Because I bought the BlackBerry Playbook, which I've mentioned on the show before.
Yeah,
I love the Palm Pre.
Right. Okay.
And Palm Pilots.
Yep, you're that
I bought the Ouya. So
wow, okay, a graveyard of tech. All right.
So a lot of things that I like tend to die.
Okay.
As far as technology,
Reverse Midas touch. I got it.
To the point at which, like, actually, when I adored PSVR, I was like half worried. Where it's like, like the fact that I really like it almost worries me because I got bad. It seems like I have bad taste. But what's incredible to me, and not vindications and haha, I've been right all along. It's more just a lot of people put faith in the PSVR. Like, this system is cool. It's a little bit niche, but this is such cool technology. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Like, I want to purchase it. So there's enough of a community. I was like, that's awesome. And to see a game like this come to it, which this would have to be the biggest game, along with Skyrim, to that you can just hop into VR. Like, that's stunning, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Right. And then secondly, on that same kind of stream of thought, like Hello Games, like this game, like, you know, this was the only game I've ever stayed awake to like download and play. Like, I was so pumped for this. And I've been just entirely biased. I've been a complete defender of it. Like, I really liked it. I know a lot of people who did love it, even like through all like the first phases of it.
Yeah.
Adored it through and through, defended a whole bunch. I could appreciate, as I've always said, I could appreciate when people don't like it. But for me, it was always just like, this game is so amazing. so to have these two streams of betting on a technology and seeing it really kind of flourish in whatever that kind of small means, like, it's done great, it's doing great, there's a lot of cool stuff coming for it. Awesome. Right. It didn't die in a first year.
No, yeah.
And to see No Man's Sky, this game that, you know, we got in early on, it's like, this game's fantastic, this team is really cool, like, I hope they make it. Like, man, like, all just comes together, and you're in space, man.
I know.
You're plastic
out there with you, jumping around planets.
VR. God, we'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to talk to some new dads and see if maybe there's a chance to do like a big new dad VR meetup. Like,
definitely, and we should name a planet. We should call it Dad Planet or Dad It or something. Yeah, and that's where all the dads go.
Yeah, I mean, the new dads, like, for the show here, like, we'd love to start getting into some streaming. It's not going to be a big channel because we're not going to have time.
Right.
But that'd be the type of thing I'd love to, like, put content together, because if we can get a few dads to fly with us in a wing, go find a planet to name.
Absolutely.
That would be stunning.
Dad Planet and Daycare Planet is just way off in a different
it's
galaxy.
The moon would be Daycare Planet.
No, it's too close. No, another system.
Okay. Yeah, one system over. Pick them up after work. But I think that'll wrap it up. We're due at the space bar in 20 minutes. Yeah. So we got to get out of here.
That's right.
Thank you so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. So if you'd like to get a hold of us, you can find us at our website at newdadgaming.com. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. If you want to, if you have any show ideas, suggestions, notes, if you want to hook up with us on VR, we'd love to reach out to us on any of those channels. We'd love to hear from you. We're going to be starting up in the fall with the Gaming Dad Victories of the Week. We just took it a little bit easy with the summer. We had to do a little bit of catch up with all that stuff. But if you yourself have a Gaming Dad moment, whether you have a victory or you know somebody else, we'd love to hear from you on that. The podcast itself you find on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, all of the services. And more than anything, if you could spare some time and give us a rating, a subscription, especially a rating on iTunes and the other services, that helps a lot as we try to reach out and find as many gaming dads in space as possible. So until next time, my name is Trevor, and I have a 4-year-old and basically a 2-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 9-year-old, 6-year-old, and we're both going to be out in VR space. So,
it's like we are just wasting space time.
That's right. That's right. Let's fly away.
Okay. See you next week.
See ya.